Hello and welcome to the latest Aston Originals. I'm Nicola Jones. In this episode, we're going to be shining a light on one of the newest developments here at Aston University, the Aston Digital Futures Institute. Established in 2023, it's a multidisciplinary research institute. Now, on its microsite, the institute is described as technology with purpose. And over the next few minutes, we're going to be looking at what that means. Here in the studio, we've got the three key figures of the Institute. We've got Professor Abdul Sadka, Professor Manolia Kavakli, and Professor Maya Angelova. Hello, everybody.
Hi, Angela.
Now, I've just introduced you, but could you tell us all a bit more about your expertise? And Abdul, can we start with you, please?
Hi, Nicola. Thanks for having us. So I'm a professor of visual media technologies. I've spent my career working with images and videos in several contexts. So compressing images, sending them over networks, analyzing them in order to extract data and intelligence from them to serve particular purposes, such as healthcare.
Okay. Manolia.
I'm a professor of gamification and simulation technology. I'm doing research in human-computer interaction for 35 years. Not only human-computer interaction, but also human-machine interaction we work at as well. So I established a virtual reality lab 20 years ago, which was the first of its kind in Australia. And then I established a simulation hub, combining flight simulators, driving simulators, and virtual reality lab all together to do interdisciplinary research between computing, physiotherapy, and also psychology. So we have been doing interdisciplinary research for a long period of time.
Yeah, you don't think of virtual reality as occurring 20 years ago, do you? You always think it's something that's much more recent.
Yes, exactly. People think so, but it's been actually a very well-established field. Obviously, recently it came much more accessible due to the use of games technology. So that's why the game engines now support really well virtual reality tools, and they are much cheaper in price.
Finally, Maya.
My background is in applied mathematics and data science. And about 15 years ago, I moved from materials and describing how materials work to life sciences. And my motivation is to really model based on data obtained from experiments and from patients, model different processes and disease in human bodies. So I'm professor of artificial intelligence in health in Aston Digital Futures Institute. And my inspiration again comes from really what causes the appearance of disease, how we can model early warning signals for onset of disease, and how we can help really the doctors and the societies to manage and make decision-making related to diagnosis and support of different conditions.
That sounds pretty impressive. I think we're going to come back to that as well later, the medical side of things. But Abdul, I want to turn to you next. And the Institute set up to benefit society. How, looking at all these different areas of expertise, how is it going to do that?
Right, so the main remit of Digital Futures Institute, and there are 7 or 8 of them up and down the country, is really to pull together expertise from several disciplines to undertake research that focuses on particular challenge areas which have a wide impact on society and the business sector in particular. So what's unique about Aston Digital Futures Institute, it's coverage. We are focusing on digital health, AI and data, and gamification. So the way we do promote and undertake research is that we try to address challenges, develop solutions for them that would have a wider benefit to society and the business sector. And this is how we are beneficial to the wider society.
Now, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Manolia nodding her head quite a lot. Have you got anything to add to that?
Yes, so I would like to add that, the Aston's aim, basically by 2030, Aston University wants to establish itself as a digital enterprise. And what we mean with the digital enterprise is an organization that uses technology in every process and every operation. So to be able to, Aston University, Aston Digital Futures Institute actually was established to help ease this process. So we are there basically to support the industry as well as the society. We want to shape the future of the society by developing innovative projects, and also arranging partnerships with the industry and allowing knowledge exchange through research.
I would like to add to this that in addition to creating innovative research projects, we are also interested in training future like workforce, and also training people who already work in different sectors how to use artificial intelligence based tools and virtual reality and also multimedia, how to use this in their everyday life, and how to simplify and their decision making, and also simplify mundane type of work.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask a question, but I'm really glad you interrupted me there, because you having sort of not so much a medical background, but medical application background. That sounds fascinating. And you've looked in areas such as sleep, which is something which is becoming, people are realizing it's more and more important. How does your work tie in with that?
It's an interesting question. My background is very far from the medical background. I'm theoretical physicist and applied mathematician really by education. And I came interested in the problems of sleep with one of our European research projects that was basically multidisciplinary project starting 2010 to 2014. And one of the topics in this project was to see how aging affects function, cognitive and physiological. And of course, sleep is one of these functions that is very affected by aging. Also, geographical situation, like also how well off are people, how educated, etc. But it is now becoming more and more important, because after COVID, for example, we have seen sleep disturbances appearing in larger groups of populations, also coming to much younger, like adolescent population, because of anxiety and basically worries about work, like life in general. So it is something that we need to live, to be alive. We need to sleep well, and it became part of my research program.
Yeah, because sometimes you hear the phrase sleep hygiene, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's to do with how the importance of sleep and how we function.
That's right. And part of the sleep hygiene is to remove all blue lights from the bedroom, including mobile devices, which happens very rarely these days, because almost everybody sleeps with the mobile phone next to their heads, but it's to remove these distractions. And possibly one can get quite affected, and also quite irritated perhaps by emails or by media, social media in particular. So that's one of the advices of my colleagues, the sleep clinicians in their sleep clinics, in addition to many other things that they suggest. But we really do the modeling of data collected by them. So we use data from various these are really signal processing data from various sensors, which measure either movement of the hand, like accelerometry, or heart rate, or brain waves.
And I think a couple of your colleagues here are wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, the medical applications to technology, digital technology, are really wide-ranging. Maya is mainly in the data analytics part of technology to help with the healthcare provision. But another angle to using digital technologies within the medical field is about using AI and data analytics to diagnose underlying diseases in medical images, which is what I've been doing with my team over the last 5 to 6 years. So developing innovative solutions that help radiologists to identify conditions lying in medical images, whatever their modality is, X-ray or CT or MRI or even ultrasound. See what sort of condition, if it exists, is in what stage it is within the morbidity, but also the severity level, so that it helps with putting together treatment plans going forward.
And so, I mean, we've discussed medical, and there's a question, Manolia, that I want to ask you is, your job title, it sort of sounds like you're professor of computer games, when sometimes if somebody says gamification. Now, I suspect that's not the case. So can you explain to people who don't know what gamification is, explain what it means, and then perhaps you are professor of computer games. I don't know, perhaps you play lots of computer games at home.
Yes, so gamification is the use of game elements in non-game contexts. So in a way, we develop serious games to train people in simulated environments, or to improve the performance of people when they are performing tasks. So gamification actually helps us to increase the engagement with the system. So user acceptance of the technology or the tool that we develop is actually well accepted and well received by the users. So today, top 70% of companies basically use gamification. So as well as 50% of startups. And when you look at it, the reason behind this is gamification actually increases productivity by 90% and enjoyment by 95%. And it increases motivation by 72%. So it's really effective in terms of solutions that you provide and the uptake of technology. So we are actually developing systems using to plug in virtual reality tools, augmented reality tools, devices, headsets, and so on, and face tracking, motion tracking devices. So we develop integrated systems. But when you are doing this, you use game engineering. So game engines today allow us to be able to plug in a wide range of hardware systems as well as software tools. So that is how we are related to the games, basically.
And just to add to it, we actually benefit a lot from this because gamification can be used as a way to collect data without actually doing expensive and time-consuming experiments. So often we develop something which is known as digital twin for simulating various functions, either in the human body or in a chemical production factory, for example. And we can use gamification as a way to collect simulated data rather than to go and do data collection with human populations. So this is one.
I totally agree. So digital twins, actually, we create the digital twins of the terrains, the environments. We create digital twins of humans in the lab environment by tracking their emotions, by tracking their facial expressions. So we try to create people that we can communicate with. And we look at this interaction and we get the bodily feedback from the person's body using this system. That's what Maya is referring to. So we get the data analytics through this interaction. And then we can use that using machine learning techniques that Maya's team generally develop. To analyze where users are mostly engaged, where they are disengaged, and so on, so that we can actually master and improve the performance of the man and machine system.
And another thing to add to this, because we develop now quite a lot of decision-making systems that would help doctors to make their diagnostics more accurate and their decisions. And we're thinking maybe it would be more enjoyable for the doctors, instead of talking to machines, to talk to, say, avatars that Manolia can produce as a virtual reality, three-dimensional sort of companions, which maybe also help with decreasing the fatigue element in the doctors and nurses and health practitioners, as well, pilots and other professions that require quite a lot of focusing.
Looking to you, Abdul, because recently, just over the past few minutes, we mentioned startups, companies, doctors, hospitals. So who do you think the Institute wants to work with? Who would you like to work with, and how would you like to work with them?
All the aforementioned and beyond. Any business that wants to go through the digital transformation process, which is a necessity, by the way, for the business sector. Otherwise, they'll miss the trend. They'll miss the train not doing so. Any business who wants to embrace AI and data analytics in their operations for obvious reasons, enhanced profitability, reduced expenses, streamlining of processes, they have to bring in either external talent or nurture their own talent internally. And this is what the Institute will be helping them doing. We'll either transfer talent to the business who wants to go through that journey in a successful manner, or help them nurture this expertise and know-how internally by doing knowledge transfer partnerships, which help them go through that transformational process.
And if anybody wants to get in touch, how would you recommend they do
So
that?
we are already doing a lot of engagement with the business sector from various angles of the industry. So from the legal field to the business field to manufacturing, even people within supply chain domain, in order to help them go through that journey that I've just mentioned, help them to embrace AI and data analytics, but in particular generative AI, to help them develop specific chatbots that would help their customer base, their clientele, to take them through, for instance, navigating a certain website or giving them information about the type of services the company provides, etc. So they want to customize ChatGPT or develop a new one based on a new knowledge base, which is very much tailored to their industry. So we help them going through that process, either by doing the knowledge transfer required to achieve that goal, or help them nurture this talent internally.
And finally, do you have one final message to anybody who's thinking of getting in touch or would like to be involved, or who might be thinking, AI, it's not for me? What would you say to them?
If they don't go through the digital transformation now, I think 5 to 7 years down the line, by 2030, they will have missed the train, and this will have a serious impact on their profitability and their business operation, their survivability in the sector. So I think the Institute has been established with that in mind, to help the business sector and the wider society prepare them to embrace the new digital technologies emerging by either training them or developing new solutions that meet their challenges.
We are at the fourth stage of actually industrial revolution. So the first stage was about the production, and then the second stage happened. When it happened, it was all about mass production, and then the third stage came with the automation that is being popular. Now we are at the fourth stage, which is the digitalization, and the Institute is here for helping people, industry and the society to get into digitalization.
Absolutely.
So we can help them with that. And the fifth stage is now defined as well. It's about the human-machine interaction
Indeed.
and how we can best support it. And it's all about the human-centric design and how we can put the human in the middle of everything that we do.
So we are, yeah, absolutely, I do agree 100%. I mean, digital transformation is way beyond putting digital infrastructures and deploying digital services on top. It has gone way beyond that to embracing AI and data analytics, because data is an important asset for any business. And to use this asset to extract intelligence and help them predict the future development of their businesses is absolutely paramount. So we help businesses go through that journey in a successful manner. And this is what the Institute is here for.
And also I want to add to this that artificial intelligence is here not to reduce jobs or to be threatening for the society. It is actually to help to make the jobs more enjoyable, to put the person in the center of the activities, so that the people can benefit, they can move on towards more inspirational types of jobs and leave to the machines things that are more like standard and that require a lot of time. So that's another of the tasks of the Institute, to really help the society and assist with AI tools.
That's why we are doing research on explainable AI, responsible AI, and so on. So to do this transformation in a more responsible way. Yes, perfect.
I think I'm going to be inviting you all back to the studio again, because I think we've only just touched on a lot of subjects, such as sleep. I found that personally, when I can't sleep, I could really relate to what you were saying, and fear of AI and why people shouldn't necessarily be scared of AI. And those are just a couple of things that come to mind. So first of all, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Nicola.
Hope to see you again here in the studio.
That would be a pleasure.
And thank you. That's the latest Aston Originals, and you can follow us on X. And of course, you can watch this and other videos on our YouTube channel.